Hello students, today we are going to study the chapter solutions. Now when we talk about the solutions, solution is a homogeneous mixture of two or more pure substances whose composition can be altered within a certain limit. The components of the solution retain their properties even though the solution overall is homogeneous. In a solution, when you are talking about, you use two basic terms, the solute and the solvent. The solute is the dispersed phase and the solvent is in which it is dispersed. A solution which consists of two or more components is said to be a binary solution, whereas a solution which has three is called as tertiary, four components quaternary, and so on. When you talk about, in this chapter, we're going to deal only with the binary solutions. And we're going to talk about two components, one solute, the other solvent. When we talk about the solute and the solvent, there are two ways by which you can classify which particular component is solute and which particular component is a solvent. If the physical state of the two components which you're mixing together to form a solution is different, then the one which has the same physical state as the resulting solution is called as the solvent and the other component is called as a solute. For example, if we are mixing sugar in water, the resulting solution's physical state is liquid and the water is in a liquid state. So water is called as the solvent, whereas the sugar which is in solid state is called as the solute. There's another way of classifying the solute and the solvent in a solution. If the physical state of the two are same, then the one which is added in a smaller quantity is called as the solute and the one which is added in a larger quantity is called as the solvent. Let's take an example. If you're preparing a solution using 5 ml of ethanol mixing in 95 ml of your water, you have added ethanol in a smaller quantity and the water in a larger quantity. So ethanol is a solute and water is the solvent. We can classify the solution in 9 types depending on the physical state of the solute and the solvent. We call these solutions as liquid solutions, gaseous solutions, and solid solutions depending on the physical state of the resulting solution. Let's study one by one. If you see the example over here, the first one, the resulting state of the solution is gas, the first 3. Hence, we call these solutions as gaseous solutions. The first one, example, the first given over here is solid in gas solution, where the solid is the solute, whereas the gas is the physical state of the solvent. An example is camphor in nitrogen gas or camphor, any sublime substance basically present in any gas is going to come under this category. The second type of the gaseous solution is liquid in gas. That means the physical state of your solute is liquid, whereas the solvent is gas and the resulting solution is in the gaseous state. Again, when you talk about liquid in gas, any volatile substance. The example given over here is chloroform. The example given over here is chloroform mixed with a nitrogen gas. And we all know chloroform is one of the volatile substances. The third kind of the gaseous solution is gas in gas. Very common one. Resulting solution, physical state is gaseous and mixture of any two gases will come under this category. I have taken the example of mixture of oxygen and nitrogen gas. Let's talk about the second kind of solution, which is liquid solution. If you see over here, the next three resulting solution have the physical state as liquid, hence we call them as liquid solutions. The first case of the liquid solution is gas in liquid. When we say gas in liquid, that means the physical state of the solute is the gas and the solvent's physical state is liquid. The example which I have taken is dissolved oxygen in water. The second is liquid in liquid. That means the physical state of the solute as well as the solvent is liquid. Example can be any two miscible liquids. Here I have taken the example of alcohol and water. The third one is solid in liquid. When we talk about solid in liquid, the most common example is sugar in water, or you can say salt in water. Remember, when you are giving the example of solutions, you have to keep in mind that it has to be a homogeneous mixture of the two pure substances. You cannot talk about colloidal or heterogeneous solutions. The third one, if you see over here, the last three given over here is the example of, we are going to talk about the solid solutions. There are three solid solutions, again depending on the physical state, different physical state of the solute, as the physical state of the resulting solution is solid, hence the physical state of the solvent will also be solid. Let's talk about the first one, the gas in solid. The gas in solid, the best example is your hydrogen in palladium, which is normally used as a catalyst. The second is liquid in solid. Liquid in solid, the example we know, if you see the alloy, mercury is the only metal which is present or whose physical state is liquid. So an amalgam, sodium and mercury, or mercury and silver, the two when mixed together comes under this category. The last and the ninth one type of solution is solid in solid. When we say solid in solid, the alloys come under this category. We all know that when we use gold for making ornaments and other things, it's not pure 24 karat gold, but it is always mixed with either the copper or the silver to give it little strength and the hardness which is required for making ornament. So the example given over here is silver in gold. After studying the types of solutions, the 9 kinds of solutions which you see around in your day-to-day life, let's talk about the next topic, which is how to express the concentration of a solution. The various ways in which you can express the concentration of solution. Now, what do you mean by concentration? By concentration, we mean you're going to talk about the amount of a solute which is present in a particular amount of solution or the solvent. See, when we say concentration, it's the quantity of the solute present in a particular quantity of the solution or the solvent. There are 3 basic ways of representing the concentration of the solution. The first one is percentages. That means you are going to find out for every 100 of the solution or the solvent how many parts of the solute are present. The second is parts per million and parts per billion. These are the two which is used for those solutions where the concentration is very low. If you see, we are saying parts per million or parts per billion. That means this is, here we are going to measure on a scale of million and billion how many parts of your solute are present per million of the solution in case of the ppm, that is parts per million, and out of billion in the case of ppb, that is parts per billion. The third and the most important way of expressing the concentration is the molar concentrations. These are the 3 broader classification of the ways in which you can express the concentration. Let's study one by one. The first one, mass percentage. As already said, percentage means on a scale of 100. Out of 100, what is the mass of the component whose mass percentage you are calculating? For example, you are talking about, or you want to calculate the mass percentage of component A in a solution. Then the mass percentage of A will be mass of solution in grams upon the total mass of solution in grams on a scale of 100, that is multiplied by 100. The example given over here is dissolve 5 gram of a table salt, that is NaCl, in 95 gram of water. So here if you see, you have taken the mass of solute, which is table salt, as 5 grams, whereas the mass of solvent, solution, overall solution is mass of solvent, which is water, as 95 grams. So if you have to represent the mass percentage of the table salt, you know that you have to give the mass of your solute, that is the table salt, present in the total mass of the solution. And we know that the mass of solution is equal to the mass of solute plus the mass of solvent, which here in this case mass of solute is 5 grams, whereas the mass of the solvent, which is water, is your 95 grams. So the total mass of solution comes out to be 100 gram. If we have to find the percentage, the mass percentage of table salt, it will be mass of table salt upon the mass of solution in grams, which comes out to be 5 upon 100 into 100, that is 5%. This is how you calculate the mass percentage of a given solution. The unit is always, at times we write it as mass percentage, or we say it is 10% W by W. This means the unit is its weight by weight. And whenever you have to interpret any question like this, a data in a numerical like this, where you say it is 10% by mass or 10% by W by W, this means that this is the part in grams of the solute. This is the mass of solute in grams, and this is for solution. That is 10 grams of the solute is present in 100 grams of your solution. This is how you interpret the mass percentage. Let's come to the okay. This was the first way of percentage. So it's first method of giving the concentration in the percentage way. The second, method is volume percentage, more or less the same as mass percentage. That is, here also we measure on a scale of 100 for every 100 of a solution. But the only difference between the mass and the volume percentage is that in the volume percentage you give it in the terms of the unit of the volume or in volume. So if we want to give the mass percentage of a volume percentage of a component A, which is V by V, then it is the volume So if I want to give the volume percentage of component A, it is how many ml or how much ml of the component A is present per 100 ml of the solution. So it will be volume of component A in milliliters present in total volume of solution multiplied by 100. We also represent this by V oblique V. Now, the example which I have taken over here is dissolving 5 ml of ethanol in 95 ml of water. So the same, the volume of ethanol, that is the component whose volume percentage we want to calculate, is 5 ml, which is actually the solute. If you remember, we have done, if you are mixing two components which are in the same physical state, the one which is in a smaller quantity is called as the solute. So here the ethanol is the solute and the volume of solvent, which over here is the water, is 95 ml. So total volume of the solution is 5 plus 95, that is 100 ml. Therefore, the volume percentage of ethanol will be, just see the formula. What was the formula? It was the volume of solute, that is here ethanol, upon the total volume of solution in multiplied by 100, the whole thing. Here the volume of the ethanol is 5 ml, solution is 100 ml, and hence your percentage by volume comes out to be 5%. This is the second method of in the method of percentage expression. The third is mass by volume. When I say mass by volume, the only difference is, see, the name itself says mass by volume. That is, mass volume percentage of it, how many grams of the solute are present in 100 ml of a solution. That is what is the third method in the percentages. This will be equal to your mass of A in grams upon volume of solution in ml into 100. Same example, if I want to take, I can say 5 gram and then you can proceed on. So in the percentages, we have done 3 ways of expressing the concentration. First one was the first one was mass percentage. Second was volume percentage. Third was your mass volume percentage. Also, we can represent it this way or this way. You should know how to interpret if given 10% this, 10% V by V by volume, 10% mass by volume. In case, this is very important, you should be clear with this thing because this is going to be used when you solve a numerical. See, when I say 10% mass by mass, that means I have already told you that this represents the solutes concentration. Now from here you come to know whether it is going to be gram, milliliters or what, the unit basically. So if I say 10% by mass, that means they have given you in the terms of the mass of the solute per 100 gram of the solution. Hence you can interpret it as mass of solute is 10 gram, whereas the mass of solution is 100 grams. So the mass of solvent will automatically be 100 minus 10, that is 90 gram. And then you can proceed for the various numericals. If I say 10% by volume, that means you are talking about the solute, the volume of solute present in 100 ml of a solution. So this can be interpreted as volume of solute 10 ml, volume of solution 100 ml, and subtract and get the value of volume of your solvent. Similarly, the third method, the third representation says 10% mass by volume. This means that the solute is given in grams, or it is talking about how many grams of solute is present or is present in per 100 ml of a solution. So this can be interpreted as mass of solute is 10 gram, volume of solution is 100 ml. This is how you are going to interpret, and this is what it means, the three ways of representing the concentration by percentage. The second method is parts per million or parts per billion. More or less it is the same like your percentage. The only difference is you are giving the solute present per million 10 to the power of 6 of the solution instead of per 100 like your percentage. These two concentrations, that is the parts per million and per billion, are used normally for those solutions where the component, that is the solute's concentration, is very low. For example, if I have to measure the concentration of sulfur dioxide pollutant in the atmosphere, which is very lesser in quantity, we cannot do it on a scale of 100, that is for every 100 of your solution. So we measure it in the terms of parts per million. The same thing. So if I want to find the parts per million of any particular solute, it will be the component, number of parts of A in the solution, can be in mass, can be in volume, or upon the total parts of all the components into 10 to the power of 6. That is, on a scale of million, we are measuring the amount of the solute present or the volume of the solute present. Similarly, when we talk about parts per billion, it is on for every 10 to the power of 9 parts of the solution, how many parts of the solute are present. The third method and the most important Okay, let's talk about few problems. Let's solve few problems based on these two ways of representing the concentrations. The first one, if you see, the first example, 140 ml of acetic acid is present in a 500 ml of bottle of solution. What is the percentage by volume concentration of acetic acid? The first thing, see, out of the two things, 140 ml of acetic acid is present in 500 ml of solution. That means the disposed phase is acetic acid, that means the solute. So you have your mass or the weight of your solute, that is acetic acid, the volume given over here, the volume of acetic acid as 140 ml, and the volume of overall solution formed by mixing acetic acid is 500 ml. So if you are asked to find percentage volume by volume, then the formula, if you remember, is the volume of solute, that is acetic acid in ml, upon the total volume of solution into 100. So volume is 140 ml, volume of acetic acid, upon your 500 volume of the solution into 100. If you solve it, you get it as 28% by volume. This was an example where we are expressing the concentration by volume percentage. The second example, if you see over there, is what is the percentage mass by mass of copper in an alloy when 10 kg of copper is mixed with your 240 kg of zinc. So when we talk about the mass percentage, here we are asked to find the mass percentage of a copper. And if you remember the formula, it is the mass of copper in grams upon the mass of solution. Mass of solution in grams into 100. This is what is mass percentage. Here, out of the two, the physical state of the two, that is the copper and zinc, is same. So the one which is in a smaller quantity is the solute. The one which is in larger quantity is called as the solvent. But since we have to find the mass percentage of a copper, we have to take copper upon the total mass of solution. So when we talk about the mass of copper, it is 10 kg, which is equal to 10 into 1000 grams. The mass of zinc is 240 kg, which is equal to 240 into 1000 grams. Therefore, the mass of the solution formed by mixing zinc and copper will be 10 plus 240 kg, that is equal to 250 kg, or we can also rewrite it as 250 into 1000 grams. Now let's substitute these values over here. When you substitute in the formula the mass percentage of copper, it comes out to be your 10 into 1000, the mass of the copper upon the total mass of your solution, which is 250 grams, into 100, which comes out to be equal to your 4% mass by mass. This is the example for the second way of expressing the concentration, that was mass by mass. The third example, if you see, see, when we talk about the third example, it's given when if 250 gram of the sodium chloride is present in 3 liters of the solution. So that means your mass of sodium chloride, which is NaCl, is 250 grams in present in 3 liters of the solution. That means the volume of solution is 3 liters. What is the percentage weight by volume? When you talk about percentage weight by volume, you know the formula is the mass of solute. You have to basically find out how much solute in grams is present per 100 ml of the solution. So mass of the solute in gram upon the volume of solution in milliliters multiplied by 100 gives you the volume percentage. If you substitute the value over here, the mass of sodium chloride is 250. The mass volume of the solution given over here is in liters. So if you convert into ml, that is you multiply by 1000, this is the volume in milliliters. So it is 3 into 1000 into 100. And this comes out to be 8.5% mass by volume. Okay, now once we have done, and I hope you have understood the percentage method, let's come to the next one, the third one, which is the most commonly used one, is the molar concentrations. The first one is mole fraction. Now first, when we are saying the third method and we are talking about the molar concentrations, the molar methods, that means you should know how to take out the moles. When we talk about the mole of anything, any component, let's say mole of A, moles of A, then please remember that you always divide the given mass of A by the number of moles. So if I say mass of A in grams upon the molar mass of A, you can also find the number of moles if instead of the mass, the volume of A is given to you. But that is only when we talk about the gaseous. Let's keep this in mind, that whenever you are dealing with the moles and you know the mass of one of the component and you know the molar mass, you can calculate the number of moles. The first one is mole fraction. Now, as I said earlier, 100 means for every 100 of a solution. So when you are talking about fraction, we mean for every one part of the solution, how much is your solute. So when I say mole fraction of a component A, it is how many moles of A are present in the total number of moles of your solution, all the components of the solution. So that means when I say of a particular, because we are dealing only with the binary solution, I'm going to talk only about the two components, that is one solute and one solvent. So if I want to find the mole fraction of A in a solution which contains A and B only, that because we are dealing only with your binary solution, then the mole fraction of A will be number of moles of A present in the solution, which you can calculate by the above formula, that is by dividing the given mass of your A with the molar mass of the A upon the total number of moles of A and B. Normally, it's represented by chi A, the number of moles by Na, because I'm not talking about the component A, and if I have to represent it mathematically, I'll represent the formula as this. And what did I say? The fraction is on a scale of 1. So that's why we know, if you know the mole fraction of one of the component, you can easily calculate for the second one, because the mole fraction of the two components will always be equal to 1. Let's talk about the next method. Now see here, in some application one needs the mole fraction of the solvent, not solute. Make sure you find the quantity you need. That means you have to see you have to calculate the mole fraction of which component, whether you have to calculate for A, component A or component B, that is whether you have to calculate it for the solute or for the solvent. Another method is your molarity. Again, when I say molarity, it basically gives you the concentration of your solute, number of moles of the solute present in a liter of solution. I'll just repeat. Molarity is the number of moles of the solute present in a liter of solution. It is normally designated by capital M, and it is always equal to the number of moles of solute on per liter of the solution. So that means you're talking about volume of solution, and whose unit should always be in liters. But at times when you solve the numerical, you see that the volume is given in milliliters rather than liters. So make sure you convert milliliters into liters. If I want to write the mathematical expression for, see, normally when I teach, I use anything subscripted A for basically solvent, B for solute, N for number of moles. So if I subscript N with A, that means I'm talking about number of moles of the solvent. If I subscript it with the B, that means I'm talking about the number of moles of the solvent. W for the mass. So if I subscript W with the A, that means I'm talking about the mass of the solvent. B, that means I'm talking about the mass of the solute, and so on. Chi for your mole fraction, and V for volume. So if I have to represent this mathematically, the formula for molarity, I'll be writing it as number of moles of the solute per liter of the solution. So that means the volume of solution in liters. Now number of moles can also be written as given mass of the solute divided by your molar mass. See, if capital M is subscripted with something, that means you're talking about the molar mass. When I'm writing only M, that means I am talking about the concentration method of expressing the concentration, that is molarity. This is the number of moles, volume in liters. In case volume is given in milliliters, you divide the volume by 1000, and hence your molarity expression becomes somewhat like this. That is the given mass upon the molar mass into volume in milliliters or volume in liters. The unit for molarity is moles per liter. See, now when we talk about molarity, the molarity depends on the volume of solution. That means it is temperature dependent. If the temperature, volume is one variable quantity because it changes with the change in temperature. That is why we have to be careful at times, and we prefer measuring it in the other term where the change is not involved. So because volume is temperature dependent, molarity can change with the temperature. Let's come to the next method. I'm just picking up one sample problem before I go to the next method so that you are more clear with this particular term. Method of expressing your concentration. If you see the numerical which is given over there, it says calculate the molarity of a solution containing 5 gram of NaOH in 450 ml of the solution. 5 gram of NaOH means it is the given mass of NaOH, which is 5 grams. You can calculate the molar mass of NaOH if you know the atomic masses, or it will be given to you. Sodium's atomic mass is 23, 16 plus hydrogen's is 1, so it comes out to be 40 grams per mole basically. Now, once you know the mass and the molar mass, you can calculate the number of moles of NaOH, which is the given mass of NaOH divided by your molar mass of NaOH, and this will be your 5 divided by 40. That is what I have written over here. Now next is, see this is, you have already calculated number of moles. You were supposed to give the concentration in the terms of molarity, which was number of moles in a liter of solution. Number of moles you have already got, 5 upon 40, which comes out to be, if you calculate, 0.125 moles. Volume of the solution is given as 450 ml. And if you remember, I said the volume has to be in liters. So you can divide it by 1000 and get it in liters. That is 0.5 liters. Substitute this in your formula for molarity, which is number of moles of NaOH present in liter of solution, or the volume of solution in liters. Number of moles is 0.125 divided by your 0.5 this liters. This will come out to be your approximately 0.278 moles per liter or molar solution. This is how we solve the numericals based on molarity. Let's come to the next method, which is molality. See, when we talk about molality, there's a very slight difference between molarity and molality. The drawback of expressing the concentration in the terms of molarity was that it is temperature dependent, and hence with the change in temperature the value of molarity changes. Whereas in case of molality, it is given in mass, not in the terms of mass, not in the terms of volume. That means it is not temperature dependent, and hence normally we prefer giving the concentration in the terms of molality. It's represented by small m, and this is defined as the number of moles of the solute present in per kg of solvent. See the difference. When we were talking about the molarity, we said number of moles of the solute present in a liter of solution. But here when we talk about molality, it is number of moles of the solute present in a kg of solvent, per kg of solvent, and hence the formula becomes number of moles of solute upon mass of solvent, not solution, it is the mass of the solvent in kg. So if I want to represent mathematically, I'll give it as number of moles of the solute, that is the B, upon the mass of the solvent in kg. In case the mass is given in grams, then the expression becomes WA, that is the mass of your solvent, in grams into divided by 1000. This is the general expression for molality. It is not temperature dependent. See, because neither moles nor mass change with the temperature, molality, unlike molarity, is not temperature dependent. That is why we prefer measuring the concentration of the solution in molality rather than molarity. Let's take a sample problem. See, when we read this question, see, calculate molality of 2.5 gram of ethanoic acid in 75 gram of benzene. That means your mass of solute or mass of ethanoic acid is 2.5 grams. The mass of benzene, which is the solvent, is 75 grams. You have to calculate the molality. Now we know for molality we require number of moles of ethanoic acid. And number of moles of ethanoic acid is the given mass of ethanoic acid, which is 2.5 gram in this case, upon the molar mass of your ethanoic acid. You need to calculate the molar mass of ethanoic acid. The formula for ethanoic acid is CH3COH. If you substitute the masses of each atom, atomic masses, it is 12. You have 12 plus 3. Hydrogen has a mass of 1. Carbon 12. 2 oxygens 32 plus 1. The mass comes out to be equal to 60 grams per mole. So that means for calculating the number of moles of ethanoic acid, you need to divide the given mass, which is 2.5 gram, by the molar mass of your ethanoic acid, which was 60. This comes out to be 0.0417 moles. The mass of the solvent, which is the benzene over here, is already given to you. But it is in gram, whereas you need it in kgs. So let's substitute the value. Molality is given by number of moles of your ethanoic acid upon the mass of solvent, that is benzene in this case, in kg. So if you substitute the value, the number of moles of ethanoic acid is 0.0417. Mass of the solvent is 75 grams. Convert this to kg by dividing by 1000. So you have in kgs. If you calculate this value, you get it as, solve this and you get the concentration in the terms of your molality. The unit of molality, if you see, is moles per kg, because we are giving it in the terms of number of moles of the solute present in a kg of your solvent. Let's come to the second problem. Calculate molality and molarity of Ki if the density of 20% mass by mass aqueous Ki is 1.202 gram per ml. Now before we solve this particular problem, you should know how to convert the mass into volume and the volume into mass. See, we all know that density of a solution or density is equal to mass of solution upon the volume of solution. Using this particular formula, you can convert, if you know the mass and the density, you can find the volume, or if you know the volume and the density, you can calculate the mass of the solution, and in turn calculate the molarity or the molality. Let's, using this formula, first see. Calculate the molality. See, when the first part says calculate molality, and we know that molality is number of moles of solute present in a kg of solvent, that is the mass of solvent in kg. Let's interpret this data. 20% mass by mass. 20% mass by mass means that 20 grams of the solute is present per 100 gram of the solution. So, the mass of your solute is 20 grams, which in this case is your Ki, that is the potassium iodide. It's 20 grams of the Ki present in 100 grams of the solution. So, the mass of solution is 100 grams, or you can say the mass of solvent is 100 minus 20, which is 80 grams. So you have the mass of the solvent, you have the mass of your solute, you can calculate the molar mass of the Ki. The molar mass of your Ki is the atomic masses of K and I, which is, it's already given, the molar mass is 166 gram. So you have the molar mass of Ki as 166 grams per mole. Now if you substitute this value, you know number of moles can be calculated by given mass of Ki upon the molar mass of Ki. This gives you the number of moles of the solute divided by your mass of the solvent in kg. Here you have the mass of the solvent in grams. So you will convert it into kgs by dividing it by 1000. So this becomes the mathematical expression for molality. Just substitute the value. The mass of Ki is 20 grams. The molar mass is given as 166. The mass of the solvent we have already taken out is 80 grams. Because it is in grams, we have to take in kgs. We are converting to kg by dividing. When you solve this, the value comes out to be 1.5 molar solution, that is moles per kg. That was the first part where you are calculating the molality of the solution, the given solution. Now next, the challenge comes when you talk about molarity. When we talk about molarity, we all know molarity is the number of moles of solute per liter of the solution, that is volume of solution in liters. This is what is required if you want to express the concentration in molarity. So here, if we want the mathematical expression, the same thing, molarity is the number of moles of the solute, that is the Ki, given mass upon the molar mass, into volume of solution in liters. The density given over here is in grams per ml. So that means what you're going to get over here from the density is, if we'll calculate using the density, the volume of the solution, we are going to get it in milliliters. So we're going to use this formula, see. Density is mass of the solution upon the volume of solution. The density given is 1.202 gram per ml. See the unit, gram per milliliters. That means you have to see that the mass is in grams and the volume is in ml, or you get it in ml. How do you interpret this? This means what? That 1.202 grams of your solute is present per ml of the solution. That is what it means, the density. So here we know that because it's given 20% by mass per 100 grams, you just take care that the mass of solution is to be taken to find the volume of solution, because in this formula you want the volume of solution, you don't want the volume of the solvent or the solute. So when you're using this, and density is also given for the solution, not for the solute or the solvent. So by this formula you can calculate only the volume of the solution or the mass of the solution, whichever you want to calculate. For now in this case the mass of the solution is given as 100 gram. So you want volume for expressing the concentration in the terms of your molarity. 100 upon volume, if you calculate, V is 100 upon 1.202 ml. That means you get the volume in milliliters because your density was given in milliliters. So that means when I am writing or expressing the concentration and I want to write the formula, number of moles of the solute, which is the given mass upon the molar mass, per liter of the solution. Since the volume is in milliliters, I will convert it into liters. Let's substitute the value. This remains the same, 20 upon 166. The only difference is volume in ml. You have calculated of the solution by using the formula density. Substitute this value. It is 100 upon 1.202, which is, this is what is the volume in milliliters. So you have divided by 1000 and you're calculating per liter. When you calculate this, you get the value as 1.45 moles per liter. See, let's quickly brush up, revise what we have studied today. We have done the various types of solutions, the 9 kinds of solutions based on the physical state of the solute and the solvent. Then we have done the various ways of expressing the concentration of the solution. The first one was percentage. We have done mass percentage, volume percentage, mass volume percentage. And for the solutions which have a very low concentration, we have done it parts per million and parts per billion. Then the third method was your molar methods, the molar concentration method, where we have done the mole fraction, that is you're giving the number of moles of a component for every 1 moles of the solution, that is when on a scale of 1. We have done molarity, which is the number of moles of the solute present in a liter of solution. And the last method which you have done is the molality, which is the most preferred method because of its independent, it's not temperature dependent, or it is independent of the temperature, which is the number of moles of the solute per kg of the solvent.